it's Heidi here with another little project for you, and this time it's quite an unusual shaped little box, a little bit tricky to close sometimes, but I think it's worth it. As you can see, it's just a nice sort of diamond shaped little box. That slips off, that's just a ribbon there, and then it opens on the end. As you can see, quite a large box. But really nice, and just a little bit of fun to do, really. Something a little bit different again. You know, wedding favour boxes or little gift boxes, either or, and you can obviously decorate it in lots of different ways depending on how you fancy. But I thought this was a nice use of the tag topper punch, which has so many uses, which I'm discovering all the time. So, where do we begin? Well, we start off with a piece of card, which is 8 1/4 by 6 inches. So takes out the width of an A4 piece of paper, not quite, a little bit more than half. I'll perhaps have a go at see if I can make one so you can get 2 out of a box of out of a piece of A4. You see here, I've already scored this, and it's very straightforward in terms of the scoring that you do if I turn it around the right way. Using your lovely Stampin Up score, all you do is you score at 2 inches, 4 inches, 6 inches and at 8 inches. That's the last one I need to do. So just 4 score lines on the one piece, then turn it and score on the short side at 1/2 inch, 3 inches and 5 1/2 inches. So you end up with a piece of card there that it looks like that. Now the next bit, you're going to need your scoring tool, or a scoring tool and a ruler. And the first thing you need to do is actually mark the midpoint on each of 2 of the squares. So if you turn it so that your shortish scored piece is on the right hand side, and you're going to score the second one, put a little mark right in the middle at 1 inch, and this one, put a mark in the middle as well. So I'm just literally putting a dot there, and I'm going to do the same at the bottom. So just mark the middle point just on those 4 boxes, and then I'm going to make another mark. This time I'm actually not going to measure it. It's just about 1/4 inch in from either side. And you'll see again, I'm just making a little indent. It's so you don't have any pen or pencil marks. And then all you do is take your ruler and line up and score. So it's a little bit of freehand scoring. So you see here, just lining up and scoring at each of those points. And then the same on the other boxes. You might need to go backwards and forwards, obviously, because you haven't, depending on what you've got underneath. Sometimes it helps if you've got a piercing mat, you can do it on that. That's a little bit softer, so you get an indent, but it works here as long as you're quite firm. And the last one. Okay, so what you've actually got now, which I'm not sure if it, I'm hoping it will pick up, is you've got 2 triangles on each of those 2 panels. And once you've scored all of that, the next thing you need to do is actually to trim it. And you'll see here what I've actually done is trimmed away the waist on the top of the one with the diamond or the triangle shape, these two here and these 2 here, and then just briefly notched here and very slightly on these 2 flaps as well. So having done that, the next thing is to reinforce your folds. I find this just helps it keep its shape, particularly with these darker cards, which tend, can be quite firm. So just go through and do all the vertical lines, and again across the middle, and that flap there. Now with these ones, these really do need it, but they need doing the other way. So just gently ease those folds. And that's why you see it's useful to do the other ones first, because that gives you a little bit of manoeuvrability. So again, just fold them up very slightly. And these don't really need reinforcing, but they just need help getting into the right shape to start off with. So now you've got your creased piece of card, very straightforward. On the reverse, I'm just putting a thin piece of tape, and you'll find with, I find that the different widths of sticky tape are really useful to have, especially when you're being a bit mean like I am here and trying to get one out of a piece of A4. So fold over, so you've got the narrow piece here, fold down. Okay, so far so good. And this is the bit where it just needs a little bit of assistance. So squeeze in the top, and you just have to kind of gently ease in this flap here, and perhaps just a little bit more notching out helps. And you don't think it's going to go, and then there we go. Get one corner in and the other one then goes in. Quite a snug little fit there. And same at the other end. So, and this is where you can see just not quite going to the edge of those, just helps it keep its shape a little bit more. So again, just a tiny little bit more there and on there. So get the one end in, and then you can just ease the other one. So there you go, there's your basic box all done. And all you need to do now is decorate. And actually I've got a fun bit of paper here. You can either do it as I did on the original box, which is where you can take, see, 4 individual pieces of paper. And if you want to do that, you'll need some DSP that is 4 3/4 by 1 3/4. Alternatively, you can actually make a box and have a single piece of paper as well. So I've cut a piece here, and this is 4 3/4 by 1 3/4. Okay, so that's going to fit just across the top there. So again, all you need to do is use a little bit of wet glue or some sticky tape, whichever you prefer to use really. Again, because it's going onto a shape, I'm going to use a bit of this is the Tombow green liquid glue, because it just gives you, say, what I call a little bit of wiggle room, just to line it up. Just gently ease it into position. There you go. And the nice thing about the Tombow is that when it's dry, if you've ever got any which is kind of a bit on the outside, you can use the lovely Stampin Up adhesive eraser. And once it's dry, and literally that means sort of clear, you just rub that over and it will take off any excess. It's a really useful bit of kit, which often, it gets a bit overlooked, I think, really. So, having put our paper on there, we can then make our tag to go on the front. And for this, you just need a piece of card, which is 4 3/4 by 1 1/2, which I've got here. This is some white I've got, and I've scored it in the middle here as well at 2 3/8. So that's scored at 2 3/8. And then, in order to get the shaped ends, take your scalloped punch tag topper, turn it over, and slide in the card and just line up, so you can see just here, just eyeball it and press, turn it round and do the same at the other end. And there you go. And I've put a crease in because I found that worked a bit better on the front, particularly by the time you put the ribbon in. I actually decided I was going to do one in using lovely pumpkin pie. Just picked out that lovely colour. You see that sits on there rather nicely. I'm just using some very plain Whisper White ribbon, and all I'm going to do is put a glue dot on the back there, just to hold it in place. So thread it through on the reverse, just to line it up so that it's broadly in the middle. Then pop it on. All the way round to the other end. And this is actually a very useful cotton ribbon. The reason it's so, I have the white, it's so useful because actually you can colour it with your inks or with your markers. So you can always have some matching ribbon even if you haven't got the colours. So just very simply tie that in, and not too tight, just a little knot at the side, and then just trim. So there you go, so there's your little band that you've got on there. And then all I thought I'd do then is, with a little bit of scrap of Whisper White cardstock, and again this is a technique which I've used on others, which is very straightforward. Pop your stamp onto your block and then just colour with the brush end of the marker. Okay, then you've got that matching. Then you're going to use the label punch here. Just slide that in. And then that'll sit just on the front there. What I did to actually make it fit slightly better was, again, I took my ruler and my scoring tool and just literally just put a line through the middle, just so that bent slightly, just to fit slightly better on there. And then the central part of it, again we're going to use the Stampin' Right markers, and I'm going to use the another stamp set which is called a round array. The one I used a moment ago, I should have shown you, is called Label Love, which is a really useful set of label stamps. So I use this one here. And we've got a round array here, and you've got Somebody Wants Case for Kindness, Be Mine, all sorts of things, You Make Me Smile. And so all you need to do is just choose which one you're going to use, pop it onto your stamping block, and again just use the brush end of the marker, colour over, and I'm going to do another one because I'm going to raise it up as I have with the other one. I rather like this with the when you've got the extra punches, or even if you cut them by hand, it's just rather nice to get that little bit of extra dimension on the front of your cards, and it's so quick and easy with these punches. It's one of the reasons why I joined Stampin' Up, because I found that I just really liked to be able to layer up, and it makes it so much easier with the matching punches. So just line it up. That one was with the 7/8 scallop punch, and then the second one using the lovely little 1/2 inch punch. I'm not going to do it on that one. It needs a slightly bigger punch, which I haven't got to hand. So failed in the preparation. So all I'm going to do is pop a dimensional on the back of that, peel it off, and pop it on the front there, actually going to use a little bit of, just for speed here, a couple of glue dots. I'll pop on either side. Just pop that there. There we go. Hope you like it. It's a rather fun box, some nice bright colours, but you can really choose, you know, all sorts of colours and make them look very smart, very sophisticated, and change it. You could stamp the tag background, do all sorts of things with it. Hope you've enjoyed. Thank you very much.